Kaspa just exploded over 40% in 1 week, and analysts are calling for another 55% to the upside. If you've been bleeding on your KS bags for months, this might finally be the turnaround you've been waiting for. Let's dive into what's happening right now. What's up everyone, Goldrush here, and welcome back to Goldrush Crypto Daily, your home for no-nonsense crypto analysis that cuts through the noise. Today we're covering two absolutely critical articles about Kaspa, and folks, I'm not gonna lie, I'm genuinely excited about what I'm seeing here. We're talking technical breakouts, whale accumulation, and price targets that could make early 2025 very interesting for KS holders, so make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and turn on those notifications because we're diving deep into two stories that could signal the end of Kaspa's brutal downtrend. Let's start with this fascinating article from Captain Altcoin about where a prominent crypto expert thinks Kaspa is headed next. So right off the bat, the article confirms what we're all seeing. Kaspa's price has exploded more than 40% this week and is now trading around 6 cents. After months of grinding lower and eating nothing but pain since the November crashes, this move stands out as one of the strongest rallies of the year for KAS. And here's what caught my attention. Analyst Crypto Bull God thinks this could be way more than just a random bounce. According to the article, he's highlighted that KAS is attempting to break out of its falling wedge against Bitcoin, and that the setup carries massive potential upside. Now for those of you who are newer to technical analysis, a falling wedge breaking to the upside is one of the most reliable, bullish reversal patterns in trading. It's not a guarantee, nothing ever is, but it's definitely something that gets experienced traders excited. Let's look at what the chart is actually showing us. The analyst shared a 2-week KAS to BTC chart, which is great because it smooths out all the day-to-day noise and lets us focus on the bigger picture. And what we see is that for most of 2024 and 2025, the pair has been stuck inside this downward sloping channel, this falling wedge. Each high has been lower than the previous one, each low has been lower, which perfectly captures how Kaspa has just been bleeding against Bitcoin for over a year. I mean, if you've been holding through this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As you can see in this article, there are two key trend lines forming this wedge. The upper black line acts as dynamic resistance, connecting a long series of lower highs. The lower black line connects the lower lows and has caught every major sell-off. Inside that structure, price has just been riding down relentlessly while Bitcoin dominated the narrative. We've all felt that pain. But here's where it gets interesting. At the bottom of the range sits a strong horizontal support zone, marked by that green line around 0.050954 on the KS to BTC scale. This is roughly where the current move started. The candle cluster shows the Kaspa price bouncing sharply off this level and pushing back toward the upper wedge trend line. That's textbook falling wedge behavior right there. Now check this out. The latest 2-week candle is really important here. It has a long body to the upside and is now pressing right into, and actually slightly through, that upper trend line. That is exactly the kind of behavior traders look for when hunting a falling wedge breakout. If that candle closes above the line and the next one holds that breakout, we're not just seeing a random pump, we're seeing market structure shift from persistent lower highs into something that finally looks like an actual trend reversal. The analyst also marks a horizontal resistance above, around 0.072369. That's the next major level on the KAS to BTC pair. A clean move through that zone would confirm that Kaspa is not only out of the wedge, but also starting a new phase of outperformance against Bitcoin. And from there, the chart suggests plenty of space toward the upper region of the larger range, where prior peaks sat much higher. Now, before we get too carried away, let's talk about whether this bullish scenario is actually realistic, because I want to give you both sides here. From a technical point of view, yes, a falling wedge breaking to the upside is a classic bullish reversal pattern. It usually forms when sellers keep pushing price lower, but each push loses strength. Eventually that compressed structure snaps and late shorts get trapped as buyers step back in. That's trading 101, and Kaspa's recent move fits that story incredibly well. Price had been sliding for months, sentiment was absolutely terrible, many holders had given up, thrown in the towel, capitulated. Then Kas suddenly ripped higher while most of the market was still nervous and fearful. That combination of washed-out sentiment and strong relative strength can be extremely powerful when it comes to sustained moves. But, and there's always a but, there are still risks. This is a higher time frame chart, so a single spike through resistance isn't enough to call victory. If KS fails to hold above the wedge and slips back inside, the pattern can turn into a fakeout, and price might revisit that green support area. We've all seen fakeouts before. They're brutal. Bitcoin's own volatility also matters here. If BTC has another sharp leg down, KAS could struggle to keep outperforming in the short term. But here's what I think. Right now, the picture looks better than it has in a very long time. Kaspa has finally defended a key support level, printed a strong bounce, and is attacking a trend line that has capped it for over a year. If this breakout sticks, this week's 40% pump could genuinely be just the opening act of a longer period where KAS stops just surviving and starts actually leading again. If you're finding value in this breakdown, do me a favor and drop a like on this video. It helps the algorithm show this to more people in the crypto community who need to see it. Now let's jump into our second article, this one from crypto.news, and honestly, this one might be even more bullish. According to this article from crypto.news, Kaspa price is targeting 55% upside after breaking out of that descending trend line. Yes, you heard that right. 55% from current levels. Let's break down why they're making that call. The article confirms Kaspa has rallied over 40% in the past 7 days to an intraday high of $0.061 on Thursday, November 27th. That's its highest level since mid-October. Now, it's still sitting 48% below its July peak, which is where the previous downtrend began, but this week's rebound is significant. And here's something really interesting that the first article didn't mention. Kaspa price rebounded after it saw renewed demand from whales. According to a recent post by Kaspa builders that's cited in this article, 8 Kaspa wallets bought the recent dip and have accumulated over 35 million KAS tokens. 35 million tokens. When you see that kind of accumulation from large players, especially after price touches a yearly low, that's often a sign of serious confidence. Smart money doesn't throw around that kind of capital unless they believe something is about to happen. And this whale activity has caught the attention of derivatives traders too. Data from CoinGlass shows that Kaspa's futures open interest jumped by 25% over the past day to $79.2 million. Plus, the long-short ratio has moved above 1, which indicates that more traders are now leaning toward bullish bets rather than bearish ones. A strong derivatives market can absolutely reinforce positive sentiment and help sustain gains over the short term. Now let's talk about the technical analysis from this article, because it lines up beautifully with what we saw in the first piece. On the daily chart, Kaspa price has broken out of a descending parallel channel pattern. This forms when an asset's price trends downward with lower highs and lower lows, while remaining within 2 descending sloping trend lines. When an asset breaks out of such a pattern, it typically signals a potential shift from a bearish trend to a bullish one. What's even more encouraging is that Kaspa price remains above the 20-day and 50-day moving averages. That indicates bulls have regained control of the short to mid-term momentum. You want to see price above those moving averages during a bullish reversal. It's a confirmation signal. And here's the crazy part. The altcoin has broken out of a key descending trend line that had been serving as stiff resistance since late July. Traders have taken this breakout as further confirmation that the bearish phase may have ended and a new upward trend could be underway. So where's the price target? According to this article, Kaspa could most likely rally to $0.092 with no major resistance levels appearing on the chart between its current price and that target. That target lies roughly 55% above the current price. 55%. If you're holding a bag of KAS right now, that's the kind of move that can completely change your position from red to green. On the downside, $0.051, which is the 50-day moving average, remains the key support level to watch in case of any short-term pullbacks. So that's your invalidation level if you're trading this technically. Here's what I love about analyzing 2 articles on the same topic. When you see independent analysts and different publications coming to similar bullish conclusions using different timeframes and slightly different technical approaches, that convergence of signals can be really powerful. We've got Crypto Bull God highlighting the falling wedge breakout on the higher timeframe, and we've got crypto.news showing the descending channel breakout on the daily with clear price targets. Both are pointing in the same direction. So, add in the fact that whales accumulated 35 million tokens at what looks like the bottom, futures open interest is surging, and the long-short ratio is flipping bullish and, well, you've got a pretty compelling setup. Now, does that mean you should rush out and ape into Kaspa? No, because nothing is guaranteed in crypto. This is not financial advice. I'm just a guy reading articles and sharing my analysis. But I'll tell you what I think. If you're already holding KAS and you've been underwater for months, this is the first real glimmer of hope you've had in a long time. If you're looking to enter, waiting for a successful retest of that breakout level might be the smarter play rather than chasing here. And if you're on the sidelines, at least now you know what levels to watch and what could trigger the next big leg up. Before we wrap up, make sure you're subscribed to Goldrush Crypto Daily. We bring you this kind of detailed analysis every single day, covering the coins and tokens that are actually moving. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Share this with anyone in your crypto group chats who's holding Kaspa or wondering what's next for the market. The bottom line, Kaspa has broken out of a year-long falling wedge, whales are accumulating, derivatives traders are piling in, and analysts are targeting 55% upside. Whether that plays out or not, we'll be watching closely and keeping you updated every step of the way. Remember, this is not financial advice. Always do your own research, never invest more than you can afford to lose, and manage your risk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's get this gold.